Having a baby is one of the most incredible experiences that you can have on this earth. I mean, that instant bond and the overwhelming love you feel from the moment that they're born. I remember the day my son was born. It was like a miracle. I mean, this little human came out of me and I get to call him my son. It's amazing. And instantly, all I wanted to do was to protect him. He's turning 13 this year and that feeling hasn't changed. I'm still extremely protective. Sadly though, not all moms experience that instant connection. Or maybe they do, but as time goes on and life gets tough, their love for their child fades. It's hard to even comprehend, but it's a sad reality that we see way too often. Today, I'm kicking off my new series called Empty Swings, and we will be discussing a recent case that has truly shocked me along with the rest of the world. If you're sensitive to true crime, especially cases involving children, you might want to skip this episode, just a warning. But before we dive in, welcome to Crime Rush. I'm Inga and I'm so happy that you clicked on my video. I hope that you will take a quick second just to like the video and hopefully you will subscribe too. Please note that I will still continue doing my cultish crime series alongside this one, and I have a whole playlist full of videos where I cover cults and the heinous crimes they commit if you enjoy that type of thing. But for now, let's dive into the case of little Evelyn Boswell.
Investigators have followed up on more than 500 leads with no credible sightings as the search continues for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell.
Now I need you to picture this. Your child is 15 months old and she goes missing. A terrifying thought, I know, but just bear with me here one moment. What do? Do you immediately phone the police, or do you go searching for her first? Or do you only report her missing 2 months later? Shocked by that last question? Well, you should be, because that is exactly what Megan Boswell did. In fact, it's much worse than that, because Megan wasn't actually the one to report her 15-month-old daughter Evelyn as missing. No, it was her dad, Evelyn's granddad, who did. So immediately red flags went up, but the question remained, where was baby Evelyn? And in order for us to answer that question, we first need to get a better understanding of who Megan Boswell is. Megan was born in February 2001 in Tennessee to Tommy and Angela Boswell. They lived in Bluntville, Tennessee, and she had 3 siblings, and those close to her often called her Maggie. Unfortunately, Tommy and Angela didn't exactly set the best example for their children, to put it mildly. They had a toxic marriage and both struggled with alcohol and substance abuse. And along with that came many other problems such as cheating, violence towards one another, criminal activity, and just a horrible environment for the children. Tommy's parents, Megan's grandparents, lived on the same piece of property, and due to all the turmoil between her parents, Megan actually spent most of her childhood at her grandparents' home. In 2016, Tommy and Angela decided to get a divorce after 17 years of marriage, and Tommy actually got custody of the kids. But unfortunately, Megan's situation didn't exactly get much better after the divorce. In fact, when she was 17, she landed up in foster care. And according to Tommy, this was all Megan's mom, Angela's fault.
Now, at some point in time, did you have problems with Megan that eventually led to her being placed in foster care?
Well, that's her mother's fault for not sending her to school. And she'd come to stay with me. And then she wanted to go stay with her mom. I said, you got school, and we got to go to court Friday. And I said, you don't go to school tomorrow. I said, they will send you off. Well, she went to stay with her mom. Mom didn't send her to school, went to court. State took her.
Luckily, Megan was placed in a stable home with a woman called Gail Cart and her husband. Megan bonded with Gail and they became close. But while with Gail in foster care, Megan discovered that she was pregnant, and she said the father of the baby was a boy named Ethan Perry. Gail and her husband stood by Megan and supported her. Megan gave birth to a beautiful little girl on the 21st of November 2018, and she named her Evelyn May Boswell. But before little Evelyn was even born, her supposed father, Ethan Perry, enlisted to join the army, and he was never really involved in her life. In February of 2019, Megan turned 18, and this is when she decided to move back to her dad's place. Her dad, Tommy's property is 11 acres and it's in Bluntford, Tennessee. On the property, there are homes and many buildings. I'm telling you this now because it will become important later in the case. But Megan didn't stay very long because according to Tommy, she struggled to follow simple rules, just like cleaning her room. And she also didn't get along with Tommy's new wife, her new stepmom. So Tommy moved her and Evelyn into a trailer at a nearby trailer park that he also owned. And I also have to add that everyone who knew Megan reported that at this stage, she was a very good mom to Evelyn. She took Evelyn with her everywhere she went and she doted on her. Megan's foster mom said that when Megan and baby Evelyn was still living with her, she witnessed what a great mom Megan was to her baby. And Megan's friends also said that Megan was doing a great job as a mom in the beginning. According to everyone who knew her, baby Evelyn was such a happy baby. She was just a ray of sunshine and a baby who was always smiling and who loved Baby Shark. Everyone who met her instantly fell for her cuteness. I mean, look at her. Evelyn was absolutely adorable with blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes. And as she grew, she became even more beautiful. And Tommy, Megan's dad, seemed like he wanted to make up for the years that he messed up with Megan. And he adored Evelyn. He loved spending time with her and he just loved being her grandpa. Megan's mom, Angela, also loved Evelyn and spent time with her, but she was still in and out of prison, so she wasn't exactly a stable presence in Evelyn's life. Megan's friends also spent a lot of time with baby Evelyn, as did her foster parents. Ethan, who was believed to be Evelyn's dad, was not in the picture really. I think he had 1 or 2 visits with her, but all the people who were close to Megan made up for that with all the love and attention they showered little Evelyn with. Megan and Evelyn also spent Thanksgiving of November 2019 with Tommy, and it was a great day. But sadly, this would be the last time that Tommy would ever see his granddaughter. Megan got a job at a restaurant called Hunter T's Chicken Shack in the beginning of December 2019, and there she connected with a man named Hunter Wood. His dad owned the restaurant, and Megan and Hunter quickly started dating. When Hunter's dad, Randy Wood, interviewed Megan for the position, he asked her what hours would be suitable for her to work. He was trying to be considerate and take into account that she was a single parent with responsibilities. But Megan assured him that she could work as many hours as he wanted.
When I hired her, because one of the questions is, do you have any kids? Because we work around schedules. Because you got a child, you can't work a lot of hours. So I asked her, she said, yes, I have a baby girl. I said, well, do we need to work around your schedule? She said, no, the baby daddy had the child. She said, I can work as many hours you want. Okay. And I said, okay.
Only a week or 2 later, Megan decided that she was going to move out of the trailer and that she would be moving in with Hunter. And Tommy eventually realized that Megan wasn't staying in the trailer. And he told her, hey, if you're not going to live there, then we need to rent it out. So he found someone to rent it, but Megan had left the trailer in a state, and before anyone could even live there, they had to clean it and even replace some of the flooring because that trailer was filthy and it was absolutely disgusting. The thought of baby Evelyn trying to crawl and live in this filth is beyond disturbing. Now, from time to time, Megan would go back to Tommy's property to collect some of her possessions that she stored there when she moved into the trailer. But the only problem was that every time Tommy saw Megan, Evelyn wasn't with her. And this was really strange because, like I mentioned earlier, Megan and Evelyn were always together. And Tommy missed her because the last time he had seen baby Evelyn was on Thanksgiving. So in the middle of December, he asked Megan, hey, where's Evelyn? Oh, Hunter's mom's babysitting her, she would say. And after that, every time he would see her, he would ask her where Evelyn was. And closer to Christmas, Megan told her dad that Ethan Perry, Evelyn's dad, had taken her. That out of the blue, he had decided that he wanted to step up as a dad and he wanted to spend some quality time with his daughter. And initially, Tommy thought, great. I mean, he wanted Ethan to step up. He wanted Evelyn to have a good relationship with her dad. And Megan assured him and said from now on, they would co-parent, and 1 week Ethan would have Evelyn and the next week she would. And now Megan was living with Hunter and he was treating her to a lifestyle that she was not accustomed to. He would spoil her with date nights, fancy restaurants, and a glimpse of a life she had always fantasized about. So Christmas came and went, and Megan was still very focused on her relationship with Hunter going into January. But this is when Tommy really became concerned, because at this point he had not seen Evelyn in about 2 months, and he wanted to know when Ethan was going to bring her back.
She said Ethan was the father, and he wanted to see Evelyn. He'd been in the Army. So I said, I'm going to stand back. If he's going to man up and want to see his child, I'm going to let him see her for a while. Then after a while, I said, enough's enough. It's my turn.
And Tommy was getting worked up because the more he pressed Megan, the more stories she would come up with. And eventually she told him that Ethan didn't want to give Evelyn back. And he suggested to her, come, let's go get an attorney, because he didn't want Ethan to just take Evelyn. But Megan would try and calm him down and asked him to just give her a little bit more time so she can try and sort it out with Ethan amicably. But weeks went by, and with every passing day, Tommy became more and more concerned about Evelyn. Megan's friends were also becoming suspicious. They kept asking her where Evelyn was, and Megan would tell them that Evelyn is with Ethan. But some she would even tell that Ethan had actually won custody of Evelyn. And it is also around this time that Megan started to spend more time with her mom, Angela. And Tommy wasn't exactly in contact with Angela, but he must have known about them spending time together because he actually phoned them and he gave them a sort of ultimatum and said that if they didn't produce Evelyn within the next week, that he was going to report her as missing. Angela warned her ex-husband not to do that and that if he did, he would regret it. But luckily, Tommy ignored her threats.
At some point, did you make an ultimatum to Megan about seeing your granddaughter?
Yeah, I told her and I told her mom.
Okay. What'd you tell her?
It was on a weekend. Oh, excuse me. I said, come Monday morning, which I told this to her mom. I said, come high hell water. I said, I'm going to get on the phone. I said, I'm going to find my granddaughter. I said, I don't care what I got to do. I said, I want to know what's going on. I said, enough's enough. And that's when I got on the phone and made the phone call.
All right.
That Monday morning.
All right.
On the 18th of February, Tommy called CPS and told them all about the situation, how worried he was about Evelyn, and how long it had been since he had actually seen her. CPS got hold of Megan at her boyfriend Hunter Wood's residence, and she told them the same story that she told her dad, that Evelyn was with her dad, Ethan Perry. But this is the point where everyone started to realize what Tommy was fearing all along, and that was that Megan was a liar. And her lies were about to catch up with her. You see, in February of 2020, when the authorities got hold of Ethan, who according to Megan had Evelyn, they found out that he was actually living in the Army barracks of Louisiana and was on active duty. So there was just no way that Evelyn could be there with him. And when authorities phoned him, he was very shocked. He didn't even know what they were talking about. And he told them it had been a really long time since he had even seen Megan or Evelyn.
Did you receive some phone calls by the Department of Children's Services here in Tennessee?
Yes.
That surprised you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
All right. And without saying what they said, why were they contacting you?
For the whereabouts of Evelyn.
All right. Did that surprise you?
Yes.
And why was that?
Because, well, I didn't have Evelyn, and that's what they were asking. If I had her, or if I seen her, or the last place that, where do I think where she would be, stuff like that.
All right. Were you then contacted by investigators with the U.S. Army?
Yes, I was contacted by the Central Investigation Division.
Nevertheless, he was interrogated. They searched his car, his phone, and the barracks, and they realized that Evelyn was definitely not with Ethan or his family. They also took his DNA, and through that, they were eventually able to determine that Ethan wasn't even Evelyn's biological father. Absolutely shocking. And this poor guy, he's on active duty, and Megan has lied and said that he has baby Evelyn. And they show up there, interrogate him, search him, and he goes through all of that and then finds out he's not even the biological father. That is pretty wild. So DCS interview Megan once again, and I want you to pay special attention to her demeanor in this interview and let me know what you think about it.
Well, we're back. Hello. Ethan does not have the baby. Then I don't know where she's at because he had her last. He has not seen that baby since he was down here for Christmas. He has seen her. I promise you he has. And he went back to where is he at?
Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Are you sure he didn't take her with him? Lord, I don't know what he did with her.
Does that not concern you?
I mean, yeah, but like, you all not know at all where she is? No. Well, what can we do?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Can you put on an Amber Alert or something?
When is the last time you've seen her?
I guess more than a couple weeks ago, it was around January. I mean, I don't lie to you, when she was with me, there were a couple times when she was trying to walk, she was like falling bruised or cheek, you know what I'm saying? But like, she was never bruised, I never whipped her. Like, I can't whip a kid. You know what I mean? I know some people disagree with that, but I mean, I just can't.
I mean, they're gonna fall when they...
Well, yeah, but I mean, whenever that happened also, my dad was like, Mama called and said that you abused her because she has a bruise on her cheek. And I was like, you can't do that, like, because for one, like, I never hit that baby, ever. And I wouldn't, you know, because when kids are bad, like, you know, bad, I believe, like, oh, you should take a toy away from them or something, like. And like I said, I know a lot of people disagree with that. I feel like you should spank your kids, but I'm not one of those people.
You know what stood out to me the most? The part where she referred to Evelyn as that baby. I mean, think about it. Have you ever referred to your child as that child or that baby? I mean, it just feels a little weird to me. It's just not something I would do. But I think we can all also agree that she definitely does not come across as a worried mother who hasn't seen her baby in over 2 months. On the 19th of February, authorities officially listed Evelyn as a missing child, and the FBI also released an Amber Alert. When the media caught wind of the story, they spread it far and wide, and the public immediately started pointing fingers at Megan and her boyfriend Hunter Wood. Reportedly, this caused Hunter a lot of distress, and he actually came forward and spoke to the media.
Hunter Wood says he briefly dated Evelyn's mother, Megan Boswell.
She applied for a job at my restaurant, Hunter T's Chicken Shack, and it wasn't like a relationship. It was an on and off going, you know what I'm saying, type deal. It wasn't like an all-out, like, you know, relationship.
He says he's known Megan Boswell for about 2 months and never saw baby Evelyn.
All I've seen is pictures of her. I have no relationship with that child whatsoever.
He says he's received threats over the internet, causing him to shut down his restaurant's Facebook page.
To my knowledge, the entire time that I've known Maggie, I've never seen the baby, of course, but as well as the baby has been with the father, you know, back from military leave. And that is all that I've known about the child.
He wants the focus to be on finding the child and not on him and his business.
There's been a bunch of stuff said about, you know what I'm saying, my restaurant, Hunter T's Chicken Shack, things negative towards, you know what I'm saying, to try to, you know, stir away the main key factor of us just trying to operate. And that is all that I've known about the child, you know, never seen it. Never seen her or anything of that matter.
Following all the hate Hunter was receiving from the public, it is believed that his mental health started deteriorating from all the stress. He asked Megan to move out of his house. He wanted nothing to do with any of this. On the 21st of February, Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy told the media during a press conference that his office had received conflicting reports about Evelyn's disappearance. Referring to Megan, he said, quote, "Her stories aren't leading up to stuff we went out and checked on," end quote. So police were definitely suspicious of Megan, but they didn't have enough to prove anything. But they were still holding out hope that they would find Evelyn alive. That very same day, Megan also spoke to the media, and she told them that she actually knew who took Evelyn, but she didn't want to tell the police because she was scared that she would be tipping the person off and that that person would just take off with Evelyn.
I just want her back. That's all I want.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished. So I'm just worried about, you know, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her?
Now, I'm sure you noticed once again in that clip that Megan doesn't exactly look very worried. In fact, she looks pretty calm to me considering the situation. If it were my child, I would be distraught. I would be freaking out. I don't even know if I would be able to speak to the media. I probably would to try and find my baby, but I mean, I would not be looking that calm, that I can tell you. And her story just makes no sense. I mean, think about it. She says she knows who has Evelyn, but she hasn't tried to go and get her herself. She hasn't seen her in 2 months. 2 months, a 15-month-old. I mean, that is insane. I would be going mad. But she doesn't want to tell the police because she's scared the person's going to take off with Evelyn. But perhaps the police can help and actually catch the person and bring your baby back. But you can just see her immaturity in her lies. Absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to move on now because I can get stuck on that. Also on the 21st of February, police asked the public to be on the lookout for a grey BMW that investigators had connected to Evelyn's disappearance. They assumed that the person or people who had the car would also have Evelyn, and I believe Megan made them believe that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it sounds like that was the situation. And they soon managed to find the vehicle in North Carolina and were shocked when they realized that the car was in the possession of Megan's mom, Angela Boswell, and her new boyfriend, William McLeod. But sadly, Evelyn was not with them. Both were arrested. You see, Hunter Wood, Megan's boyfriend, reported this very same car as missing just a day before the police found it. And he said Megan was actually supposed to buy this car from him, but instead her mom and her boyfriend just took off with it. But Angela had a different story. She said she never stole that car. She said Hunter gave it to her as a gift. And Angela's dad actually confirmed her story and said he witnessed when Hunter gave the car as a gift. He also disclosed that up until the day Hunter gave the car as a gift, he and Megan were visiting Angela and William almost daily for 2 weeks. When this information came out, the public was even more suspicious of Hunter, and they started calling him all sorts of names. And eventually Hunter just cracked and he ended up in the mental institution. This also confirmed that Megan was lying once again, because if she was seeing her mom on a daily basis, then she would have known that her mom was in the BMW and that she did not have Evelyn. And please note that now Megan was actually pointing the finger to her own mom. On the 24th of February, Megan did another TV interview, and once again, she revealed some shocking new information.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself.
And investigators quickly discovered that this was yet again another lie from Megan. And they were like, okay, so this has been many stories now. First, it was that Hunter's mom was watching her. Then it was that Ethan had her and he didn't. And then she pointed the finger at her own mom. And now she was pointing the finger to her mom again, saying that she left Evelyn with someone in Mendota. It was just red flag after red flag with this girl. And once again, her lies were making no sense. I mean, why would her mom do that? And why would you not just go and get your baby? But Megan's lies just continued. The following day, she gave another TV interview and told the media that she was at the police station to do a polygraph test, but that she couldn't go through with it because she was pregnant, and it was against their policy to do these tests on pregnant women. This turned out to also be false, and TBI made that known to the public.
She was never asked to meet us for any polygraph. We don't actually have a polygraph examiner. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation does the polygraphing. We never set up any type of interview for her. And the pregnant statements, I'll have to leave that to her. That's information she released to you. Of course, it being medical, there's HIPAA violations that we have to look into, and I can't release that information at this time.
On the evening of the 25th of February 2020, Megan was finally arrested on charges of false reporting with a bond set at $25,000. Once arrested, police were eventually able to determine that Megan in fact was not pregnant, just one more lie to add to her long list. Now, it's not clear to me why she lied about the pregnancy. I'm wondering perhaps she wanted some sympathy from the public, or perhaps she was trying to hold on to a relationship with Hunter Wood. Whatever it was that she was trying to do, it didn't look good because it just made everyone even more suspicious of her. Once in custody, Megan told the investigators yet another story of what happened to Evelyn, and this one differed quite a bit from the others. She told them that one evening Evelyn was sleeping in bed with her and Hunter, and one of them must have rolled on top of her, because when she woke up the next morning, she found Evelyn deceased in the bed. Police were shocked. I mean, first of all, Hunter had said he had never even met baby Evelyn. And second of all, they didn't know if they could believe Megan. She had lied so many times. I mean, it would have been silly of them to believe this version of her story now. And when they asked her where they could find Evelyn's body, Megan refused to tell them. Although police didn't really believe Megan, the story of hers prompted them to do another search of Tommy Boswell's property, but sadly they found nothing. But about a week later, Tommy Boswell phoned the investigators and told them that Megan had a playhouse on his property that she used to store possessions in. And he remembered that around Christmas, she was at this playhouse with a car backed up. And he wondered if police didn't want to go and search that playhouse. Now, I'm not quite sure why the playhouse wasn't searched before if they searched the entire property, but nevertheless, the police went and they searched the playhouse. Special Agent Brian Fraley opened the door to the playhouse and looked at all the various items just lying around. Most of it looked like it had been there for ages. It was full of dust. But there were items that looked like they had been placed in there more recently. One of those items was a white trash can. When he tried to lift the trash can, he felt that it had some significant weight to it. And I will let you listen to what he said happened.
Once I felt the can, it had some significant weight to it, more so than a regular trash can has household trash in it. Removed some items off the top of that, and then that's when I first saw the leg of Evelyn's body. Like I said, maybe replaced it or resituated best I can, stopped what we were doing, and made the appropriate phone calls.
Absolutely devastating. I can't even imagine what it must be like for, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, investigators to come across something like that and to see this beautiful little baby, just this little leg sticking out, thrown away like trash. I mean, literally. I honestly don't have words for this. They found the little decomposing body of Evelyn in a trash bag. She was placed upside down and her body was wrapped in a fleece blanket. When they removed the blanket, they realized that baby Evelyn had also been wrapped in foil and plastic, and she was wearing a beautiful purple onesie. This is disturbing, but they noticed that the foil had been wrapped so tightly around Evelyn's face that it flattened part of her face. Her little body was sent off for autopsy.
Where was her body transported?
The Forensic Center in Johnson City.
Okay. And are you the individual that performed the autopsy on Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Okay. And was that also performed at the same location in Johnson City?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Schmidt, did you form an opinion as to the cause and manner of death of Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Okay. What is your opinion?
The cause of death, homicidal violence.
Okay. And can you explain that for the jury? What did you base that finding on?
I based it on the autopsy findings, the investigative summary, the investigators that went to the scene, and law enforcement investigation.
Okay. Hypothetically, if Evelyn was alive when she was placed in the trash can, is positional asphyxiation likely?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what positional asphyxiation is?
It's your body's in a position that compromises your breathing.
It was even more devastating when the examiners said that it was very likely that Evelyn was still alive when she was placed in that trash can. But investigators still had a lot more work to do. They had to find all the evidence they could. They had to go through all of Megan's lies. and they had to try and piece together some type of timeline to prove exactly what happened to Evelyn and who was responsible. On the 19th of August 2020, TBI confirmed that Megan had been charged with 2 counts of felony murder. Later that month, she was formally indicted by a grand jury on 19 charges. These charges included 2 counts of felony murder, first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, aggravated child neglect, aggravated child abuse, abuse of a corpse, failure to report a death, and 11 counts of false reporting. Her bond was now set at $1 million, and Megan pleaded not guilty to all the charges. The trial was supposed to take place in 2023, but there were circumstances that caused delays. One of those being that Megan's attorney asked to withdraw from the case. He said they couldn't settle on a strategy and that their relationship was broken. And then a new lawyer was assigned to Megan. While waiting on the trial to start, though, Evelyn's loved ones and the community came together and mourned her and set up many memorials for her. Megan's trial began on the 5th of February 2025 and lasted a little over a week. It was pretty intense, and many witnesses testified, including Megan's dad, her foster mom Gail, Ethan, Evelyn's babysitter, Hunter's dad, and Megan's friends. It was interesting to learn what Megan's friends revealed. They shared the stories Megan had told them about where Evelyn was and painted a picture of Megan being a wonderful mom until she met Hunter and became obsessed with him. One of Megan's friends, Caitlin Carter, revealed that she saw Megan and Evelyn around the 1st of December 2019 when she went to Chili's with them.
Do you recall going to Chili's with Megan Boswell at one point?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when that was?
The end of my college semester.
Okay. And do you know when that would have been?
Around the 1st of December.
Okay. Who was there when you went to Chili's that day?
Me, Megan, and Evelyn.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you sit at a table or a booth?
Booth.
Okay. And did you sit beside anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so Megan and Evelyn were on one side of the table and you were on the other?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your impression of Evelyn that day?
She was dirty, and I could smell her across the table.
Okay. Have you been around babies before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was she beyond what a normal dirty baby would be?
Yes, ma'am.
The other friends who testified revealed that Megan told them that Ethan had actually filed for emergency custody of Evelyn. Text messages were shown to the jury between Megan and her friends, and this just further confirmed how much Megan lied to everyone who was part of her and Evelyn's life. One friend, Bailey Hawkins, completely broke down when she testified, and my heart just broke for her because I can only imagine how shocking it must be to find out that your friend did something like this.
At 4:45 p.m., what do you say to Megan?
So please send pictures of Evelyn. I miss her.
Okay. And what does Megan say to you?
I will in a second.
Okay. Did Megan send pictures of Evelyn that day?
No.
Bailey, do you need a minute? Okay. Do you have water? Okay. There's tissues up there if you need them, okay?
Megan's ex-boyfriend's mom, Erica Stacy, who loved Evelyn, also testified and said that Megan said some things about Evelyn that made her concerned.
During this time that you were around Megan, did she ever say anything about Evelyn that surprised you?
She would always say that Evelyn was mean as crap.
Okay. And is that the word she used, crap?
No, she would say mean as shit.
Okay. Did she say that more than once?
Yes.
Okay. And that would have been around the time that Evelyn was a year old?
Yes.
Okay. Why did that surprise you?
I was raised, you just don't say that about a child.
Was Evelyn a mean baby?
Not that I ever saw.
Okay. What type of baby was Evelyn?
very happy, very smiley.
Evelyn's babysitter also testified and said that she was very concerned because she saw that Evelyn had one of the worst diaper rashes that she had ever seen. The investigators also got an opportunity to share their evidence with the jury. They showed the trash can that they found Evelyn in and the foil that she was wrapped up in.
During proceedings on Monday, investigators showed the jury a lot of evidence, including the trash can in which they found baby Evelyn, also a onesie the baby was wearing at the time she was found, as well as some aluminum foil that had been placed over her face.
They also showed the jury a photo that captured the horrific sight of little Evelyn's leg sticking out of the trash can. The jury deliberated only a few hours before reaching a verdict. On the 13th of February 2025, Megan Boswell was found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of her daughter, 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. She was also found guilty on other charges, which included neglect, child abuse, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and several counts of making false police reports. After the verdict, jurors deliberated again and decided to sentence Megan to life in prison. The 23-year-old will be eligible for parole after 51 years on the murder charge, though the judge will sentence her on the other charges at a future date. I feel like I am quite happy with the sentence, and I feel like justice was served, sort of. I mean, Evelyn is gone. There's no way that she can be brought back, and this case is devastating. Every time I see that baby's face, I want to break down because she was so cute and she did not deserve this. I cannot comprehend a parent doing that to their own baby. I mean, it is beyond disturbing. I've had nightmares since I've done the research on this case, and I've obviously been following the trial, but it's just very disturbing for me to even think of that. I still have some questions, one of those being, who is the biological father? I mean, there were some talks in the trial about Megan being SA'd before, and I think they were alluding to the fact that that person that could have resulted in the pregnancy and that Evelyn was a result of that. But I don't know if I believe that, and I don't think any of us can just believe anything she says because she is a known liar. But at the end of the day, she murdered her own baby, and she is exactly where she needs to be now, and she will not get out until she is a very old woman. That is, if she ever gets out. There's just never a satisfying end for me in these cases because, like I said, you can't bring the baby back. The damage is done. I mean, sure, sentence her for life or give her the death penalty even. It just still doesn't bring that baby back. It still doesn't change what that baby went through. I'm sorry for getting so emotional during this case. I probably will during this series of cases because we will be covering cases that involve children. That's always tough for me. That's like the worst ones for me to deal with. But thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, and for supporting. Please stay safe. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you.